Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Fan Friday. I have the wonderful Deanna Grant here today. Deanna is coming from Canada, so that's why this is going to be pre-recorded and we are going to be putting it up live in May. So with Deanna here, and Deanna I have recently met, and she is phenomenal and fabulous. So Deanna, tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of your intuitive journey.
Okay. Well, I have been on this journey for a few years now. I was introduced to Reiki and crystals about the same time, actually. And I started with a rose quartz crystal, carrying it in my pocket, and started gathering a little bit of information and a little bit of intuition as to what I needed for my own personal journey. And I soon began to feel a shift. I noticed that I began to feel different. I noticed that my conversations with people were different.
Oh, wow.
And my conversations with myself were different. So I just kind of kept going from there, just learning a little bit more and diving in. I have all kinds of books and stones and courses and all sorts of things. So I became a crystal Reiki master teacher.
Wow.
Just recently, and a Reiki master teacher as well. So just really loving my journey. I thoroughly enjoy the transition that I see people in their own journeys as they come to me. And I'm loving every minute of it.
I love that. And I love the fact that you are a crystal therapist. I think that there is definitely a shift right now in consciousness with a lot of people that are moving towards working with the crystals.
Yes.
And if you don't mind sharing, like, what are some examples of using crystals that have amplified your own healing and maybe healing in others?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think the first one that stands out is my dad, who is now 95, and he was 90 at the time. He had knee surgery. And I took some crystals up with me when I went to see him, and the incision was very angry looking. It was, yeah. So my dad is very open to, whatever works is kind of his mantra. So I gave him an amethyst and a selenite, and I said, hold them in each hand. He did. He sat in his chair in the living room with those stones. He went to bed with them that night. And the following morning, we could not believe the difference in that incision.
That is amazing.
We had to go to get the stitches out that day, and he even noticed the inflammation was down, the redness was gone, and nothing else had changed except the stones.
Wow. And I'm actually a registered nurse. And when you hear a red, angry wound,
yes.
I mean, that could go septic and people could die from that. So the fact that that's a powerful, powerful healing for sure.
Yes. Yes. And more recently, bless you.
Thank you.
I have diverticulitis.
Okay.
And so a couple of months ago, I just kind of had a flare with that. And it was so painful. I could not stand upright.
Oh my goodness.
It was really painful. I grabbed a couple of amethyst, one in each hand. You'll notice a theme. Amethyst is
I am noticing it.
Right? It is a natural tranquilizer. It truly is. And so I grabbed one in each hand. I laid down. I immediately went to sleep.
Wow.
And it was almost like when I woke up about a half hour later, it was almost like I had been in a coma. It was just that supportive sort of feeling. And the pain, I knew that the pain was still there in my stomach, but it was so muted. It was like it was out there somewhere. It was there still, but I didn't feel it as much.
Oh my
And
goodness.
again, that was the only thing that I did, was grab the 2 amethysts, and I carried them around the rest of the day in my pocket, and I was able to function. It was absolutely amazing to me.
Oh my goodness, I love that. And what you did say to me earlier, with you being a crystal therapist, you're a catalyst and
Yes.
you are assisting people to teach them how to heal.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you work with clients?
When a client comes in, it's crystal Reiki that I do
Mhm,
at that point. So um, I usually do a layout of stones on the client, and it
mhm.
depends upon what they have told me, what they may be going through, maybe what they need to release, or maybe they don't know what it is that they need to
Okay.
release. And so I sort of approach it intuitively at that point and choose the stones that I put on them.
Wow.
The the client, my belief is the client is drawing the energy from source, from the universe, from God
Mhm,
through me,
mhm.
and the Reiki amplifies the properties and the vibrations of the stones.
Wow. That's
So
amazing.
that's where that comes from. And
Mhm.
with the amplification, what the client may be going through is drawn to the surface so that it can be released.
Wow.
So during that I mean, sometimes you have to have some Kleenex handy because emotions are released, and it's really quite phenomenal.
Yeah. And I would imagine you are helping them to release years and years of, cellular memories that have, kind of clogged up their energetic system.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And there's things that sometimes I will get messages, not always, but
Mhm.
sometimes I'll get messages, and I kind of approach it cautiously. Does this mean something to you? Because it doesn't mean a lot to me.
Right, right.
And so, yeah, the responses are, again, just mind blowing with some of the things that come up for them. Yeah,
I love it. It sounds very cathartic and very empowering, with
it
the sessions
is.
that you're doing. And I,
It
I
is.
love the fact that you bring in the crystals. You definitely work with rose quartz and amethyst a lot. What are some of your other favorite crystals that you love to use?
I love all things Jasper.
Oh, yes, that's a good
I
one.
I
Yes.
love the Jasper. Red Jasper is my go-to for your root chakra, for sure, for
Yeah.
grounding,
Hmm.
just that sense of stability and belonging, safety. It's also great for your circulatory system.
Oh, yeah.
So anyone who's having any physical issues with, varicose veins or things like that, carry a red Jasper with you.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, no, I love the Jaspers. Picture Jasper, I'm drawn to the polychrome.
Hmm.
They all, similar properties, but just depends upon what I'm feeling that day, which one I'm drawn to.
Oh, I love that. Do you find that as you're becoming like, because you've been on this journey for a while, but as you're becoming more and more on your journey, that you're drawn to other crystals that you're like, oh, I may not have want to work with this one before?
For sure. Right now, for whatever reason, and that's still to be uncovered, the
Mhm.
rainbow moonstone
Oh, that's a
has
good
jumped out
one.
at me, right? It's gorgeous. I actually
Yes.
have it in my hand.
Oh my gosh. You know what? That's a really good one. That's so interesting. It's funny because, I work with crystals myself and I have found that I'm definitely like, I don't know, it's like a flavor of the month. Like what crystal wants to, I want to work with. And right now I'm working with
Yeah.
Creedite. That's the one that I really like working with the most.
Yes.
And
Yes. That is a favorite too. It's wonderful. It's beautiful.
oh,
Well, as you can see behind me,
yes, I
there's
love
all
yourself.
kinds. I have another one like that, but sideways on the wall in
Oh,
front of me,
wow.
and another, like, they're everywhere. I have them around my plants,
Oh, okay, great idea.
because they do help your plant growth and
Hmm.
energy as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have them all over the house. They're everywhere.
I actually have a money tree that I have a crystal grid surrounding it with, what do I have? I have selenite, citrine, malachite, and some other ones.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. Add some pyrite in there too.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Listen,
Yeah, add some pyrite.
I'm all,
Yes.
listen, I'm like, you know yourself. So I'll be like, yes, ma'am, I will do that today.
For sure. Well, it's all about it's kind of about the three eyes is the way that and you could equate that to third eye, but
Mhm.
information, intuition, and intention.
Oh, I love that.
That's kind of my go-to. You can get all sorts of information on the stones, the
Mhm.
individual properties, where they come from, and that sort of thing, but it is also about your intuition and what you're drawn to.
Right. Mhm.
And we don't always know. We walk into a crystal shop, and I usually, as I'm walking through the door, say, show me what it is that I need.
Right, right, right. Well,
Right.
that's perfect.
And then you're drawn to whichever ones. And then I will go home and look up the information and go, oh, okay, well, I don't know why I was drawn to that today, but it usually will show itself to me within the next 2 or 3 days or week as to, oh yeah, okay, so that's why I kind of needed it. I tend to sometimes be drawn to it
Mhm.
before I need it
Yeah.
so that I have it on hand,
I
right?
love that. And I love the fact that you're willing to wait for the intuitive guidance. Like
Always.
we're in a population right now where everything is immediate and need to know right now and instant gratification. But you're like, no, I can wait, and I know it will come.
Yeah. Yeah, always. It's not always easy to.
Mhm.
We do live in an instant society. We want everything right now. Thank you
So
very
true.
much. And I do have my days. But it's becoming a little bit easier. I've made it part of my practice that I try to just surrender
Yeah.
and trust.
Yes.
Surrender and trust. That's, and then in focus, okay, what is it that I need to do today? And grab up the crystals that I need for that.
Mhm.
And away I go out the door. So,
Oh, I
yeah.
love that.
So,
And
yeah,
another thing that you do is you actually do paintings. You
I
have your
do.
yes paintings, your energy story paintings.
I do.
Would you
Yeah.
please share a little bit about that as well?
Sure. Well, I was invited to a paint night just a couple of years ago, and I had not really painted in my entire life.
Wow.
I did a lot of other creative
Hmm.
things, writing and that sort of thing, but not painting.
Hmm.
Had
Hmm.
thought about it, but never picked up the paintbrush. So
Okay.
I absolutely fell in love. I just kind of, again, intuitively just let it go. And haven't stopped since. And I call her my mentor, the one that was there that night, and she's an amazing intuitive artist.
Wow.
She, kind of took me aside and said, you know what, you can do the same thing, you can do this.
Wow.
So with her help and support, I started doing a little bit more. So
Hmm.
yes, I meet with people usually online over
Hmm.
Zoom, and we tap in a little bit. I do a brief meditation,
Yeah.
and then I tap into their energies and paint the energy that I feel coming from them.
Wow.
So yeah, yeah,
So it's
it's
almost
amazing.
like there's another person I know, and she kind of intuitively she'll tap into you, and she kind of paints how your chakras are. So
Okay,
you're
yes,
tapping into your energetic system and how your energy is flowing throughout your body.
yes,
Oh, I love
yes,
that.
yeah. And it's, again, it's I'm just the catalyst, and it's
Mhm.
amazing to me how, as we start talking sort of at the end, and they'll say, oh my gosh, well, I saw this color and I saw these colors and these images, and they're in the paintings,
Oh my
right?
goodness.
And then they start seeing other things that emerge, and yeah, it's very rewarding for
Mhm.
me, because it, again, is a pathway to help people release.
Right.
um
And then with the paintings, I would imagine that you are tapping into areas and maybe opportunity of places that they can release, and that you're imprinting your Reiki into it. So when I look at this painting, I can receive that healing. So it's like a future healing that I can receive just by looking at it.
Definitely. Yes, definitely. And you can also, turn it upside down, turn it sideways, and see all sorts of different messages and different things in it.
Wow, that's so
Yeah,
powerful.
it is. It's very, very cool.
That
Very
sounds
cool.
really cool. And then like, is that, I would say, how long does that take you to do with someone?
Well, it varies. Typically,
Mhm,
what I'll do is I'll do the meditation with the client and I'll talk to them for a few minutes. That's usually a half hour.
mhm.
And then I will let them go about their day and I will do the painting because it can take a couple of hours
Oh,
to two and a
wow.
half hours. And then I will get back in touch with them
Uh-huh.
and show them the painting and talk to them about that after. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love that it's like, it's very interactive, but you also have the time and the space to kind of really tap into the energy and
Yes.
let it flow.
Yes.
Oh,
Some
that's
of
so
them are very intense. Some of them, there's layers upon layers in the painting.
wow.
And others are very quick and it's there and,
Yeah,
you're good to go. So yeah, it varies.
that's perfect. Now you have a crystal, I know that you teach, but you have a crystal class that's coming up. Do you mind sharing a little bit about that?
Absolutely. I really think that it is an area that we need to know more about and need to get out there. I think there needs to be more crystal Reiki master
Yes.
teachers. That's a
Mhm.
mouthful, but I think there needs to be more of us. And so I have developed just a short course. It's just two workshops,
Oh, wow.
and the first one talks a little bit about the chakras and how the crystals interact with the
Mhm.
chakras. And then the second one is a little bit more detailed as to different grids and different layouts that you can
Ooh.
use for the client. And then there's a crystal attunement that I can do at the end of that workshop so that the person then will also be crystal Reiki master teacher.
Oh my goodness, I love that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
amazing. That's so
yeah.
cool. And that's coming up in June, correct?
That is coming up in June.
I love
Yes,
that.
I will have an actual date soon, but not quite yet. But it will
And
be
oh, go ahead. I'm
evenings,
sorry.
usually an evening.
An evening, perfect. And it's online, correct?
It is online.
Okay.
Yes,
And I have
yes.
a question. If by any chance somebody is taking this class and they're not able to attend live, can they still purchase the course and receive the attunement?
Yes, that is something that I've been looking at as well, in just actually doing the recording
Okay.
of it and then being able to send it to them after. Not an online course as such,
Hmm, hmm.
but if they register and are not able to attend live, yes, they can do the
Oh, perfect.
recording. And I can also do the attunements. Um, they don't have to be online. I can
Gotcha.
do it with them energetically.
Nice. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
So they'll receive the healing and the attunement in which for them to move forward in the path.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
love that. So what are I want to go back to crystals. So you said you do crystal grading. What type of crystal grading do you do or teach people to do?
Um, well, there's the first one is for one of the first requests is manifestation,
Yeah.
usually for wealth.
Yes.
So there are wealth grids.
Hmm.
There are love grids, both self-love and romantic love,
Yep.
and then healing. And the healing ones are, of course, the ones that I do on the client,
Hmm.
depending upon their energies and their chakras and that sort of thing. You can actually maybe do a grid over the solar plexus
Oh,
or do
wow.
a little one on, you can also do grids on the face.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I've never thought about doing a grid on the face. I'm sorry, I'm
Right?
having a moment.
It is. It's very, very cool. It is.
That's so cool. And what would doing a grid on the face help you? Like, what would that do for you?
A lot of times well, you can do it cosmetically. You can do it for, right, just kind of release some stress and maybe reduce some lines and that sort of thing, right? Or you can concentrate on your third eye and the intuition that is
Yes.
there. Yes.
Oh my goodness, I have chills. I'm
It's
like,
cool. The possibilities are absolutely endless.
That's so true. Wow.
Absolutely endless. It just is a matter of, if you can think of it, then you can do it with crystals.
I have the field of dreams now. If you build it,
If
they
you
will
if
come.
you build it, they will come. That was one of my favorite movies when I was younger.
Obviously,
Kevin
God
Costner
was
doesn't
drawing
hurt,
to
just
you.
saying.
I love that. And I want to go back to something that you said earlier, is that with your healing, how you're a catalyst. And I just want to go back to that again. And you said it comes from God through source, through your own healing. Now, being a spiritual person and being that you believe in God, do you ever find that sometimes people may kind of question your belief in God, or is this legitimate belief? Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes as a spiritual
Absolutely.
person, we get questioned, well, do you believe in, yeah, I believe in God. I'm a
Of
Christian.
course. Of course. Yes, I do. And I think that is, I think that stems from programming of
Yes.
society,
Mm-hmm.
that if it doesn't fit into the little box of what we are taught,
Yeah.
then it must be bad.
Yes.
And this, I mean, crystals were used in ancient times,
Yes, they
Egypt and
were.
Greece, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is not bad in any way.
Mm-hmm.
These are energies. And actually, the way that I love to explain crystals is that they're formed in the earth, obviously. So they have a chaotic environment around them.
Mm-hmm.
They take that chaos and they layer those molecules in a very precise, balanced pattern. So that is exactly what crystals do in our lives. They come into our chaotic environment
Mm-hmm.
and they balance us.
Mm-hmm.
How can that be a bad thing?
Exactly.
Right? So I feel God created crystals. God
Mm-hmm.
created all of this. This is, the energy stems from him. Yes, I
Mm-hmm.
am a Christian as well. And I am a tool,
Right.
as the crystals are tools
Oh, yes.
for our overall health, not only our physical, mental, and emotional, but also our spiritual
Mm-hmm.
advancement, right?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
It does connect us, I believe, closer to God and the angels. It helps in our prayers. I heard another statement that they said, prayer is you talking to God.
Right.
Meditation is God talking to you.
I love that.
Right. So again, it's our programming, and people seem to have a knee-jerk reaction that, oh, that must be bad,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't understand it or they don't know about it. But
Right.
when you start explaining it, even just give them a crystal to carry with them in their pocket
Right.
and tell them to pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
then they come around and go, oh, okay, I get it now.
That's so true. And I mean, the other thing is about crystals is that crystals will also help raise your vibration.
Definitely.
So if you're having, a bad day or something like that, the crystal can be uplifting for you just by holding it.
Definitely. Definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so
Yeah.
true. It's so true. And that, I mean, I do feel like humanity as a whole and consciousness as a whole is opening more up to the spirituality realm. But
Agreed.
I do like talking to people about how, they've overcome some of those belief patterns and, I don't want to say negativity, but different
Yeah.
beliefs that people may hold.
I think as our experiences grow
Mhm.
and we gain more confidence,
Yeah.
then as we're talking to people, they sense that confidence. They sense our energy. They
Yes.
feel our energy
Mhm.
and go, okay, well, I kind of want a little bit of that too. Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and it does raise their vibrations.
Mhm.
So
That's
Yeah.
so true. That's so true. So if somebody is interested in booking a session with you, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably the best way would be my email address,
Okay.
which is simply my name, Deanna Grant,
Okay.
7 @gmail.com.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And then you will be, so what we'll make sure to do is when we post this video, I'll make sure to link your class. I'll make sure to put your email address, because I'm in the States, you're in Canada.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that would be wonderful. That would be
Is there
wonderful.
anything else before we wrap up this call that you just want to just to talk about, put a spotlight on?
I think we've pretty much hit it all. I just would really encourage people, if they're not familiar with crystals,
Yeah.
to take that step and go out into one of the stores and just step through the door and say, show me what I need.
Yeah.
I do that when I go to a bookstore too, by the way. I just walk in and say, okay, what is it that I need to know? What is it that I need to learn?
So true.
And it's amazing what will come to you from
Hmm.
that.
It's
Yeah.
so true.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time today and talking to me and telling us about your beautiful abilities and your amazing gifts. And I really look forward to hearing more from you and seeing. I have to check out your energy artwork. I'm so excited about that. And I'm also really excited about your crystal class. I'm like, oh, I gotta sign up.
That
So
would
what
be
I'm gonna do,
awesome. Thank you
I
so much, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. And I'm just going to close up and thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Till next time.